The winning blueprint presents.
Welcome, you are in the lab room on a beautiful Wednesday afternoon. I'm your host, Lou. Thank you for joining me. And it's Wednesday, again, as I always say, it is the start of the NFL work week for most teams, all except two. If you are playing on Thursday Night Football, as the Steelers and the Titans are, you are already basically done. Your game plan is set, and you're ready to take on your opponent. For everyone else, you're starting practice today. You know, things are getting going. You're starting to really put in the game plan for your upcoming opponent. First day of practice, you're starting to see who can and can't go this week. You're going to start to see if guys can practice or not. And so we're at that point in the season where guys start to see if they can play or not. And one of the biggest question marks of this week is going to have to be Robert Griffin III and his status for the Week 6 matchup against the Minnesota Vikings. That's where we are right now. Guys are trying to see if they can play or not. Of course, you have teams on a bye week, so you know they're off right now. But you have other two teams who are playing on Thursday Night Football, so they're getting ready for their matchup. But for everyone else, again, it's Wednesday, start of your week. And so with that being said, it's Wednesday in the lab room. And what that means is it's Soul Survivor Day. Today is when I give you your Soul Survivor. If you're in a survivor pool and you're looking for that one game, that one matchup, that one team that can get you through to the next week's slate of games and keep you alive in your survivor pool, then look no further than today's episode where I give you the Soul Survivor of the week. Now, I've been 4 out of 5 this year. My one lone loss coming in week 3 when I took the New Orleans Saints over the Kansas City Chiefs. Could you blame me for that one? The Chiefs were down 18 in this football game. Saints had a commanding 24-6 lead. And they found a way to squander that, to blow it, lose at home in overtime, allowing the Chiefs to kick 5, count them, 5 field goals and get a safety and score only 1 touchdown, which was a 91-yard Jamal Charles run. You deserve to lose if you're giving up 91-yard touchdown runs. You deserve to lose if you allow them to get a safety knowing they haven't scored a touchdown by driving the football down the field and they need a safety to cut it to 3 because it's a 5-point lead and you allow them to get that safety. So, shame on me for entrusting myself to the New Orleans Saints. And shame on the Saints for not being able to close the show on a lifeless Kansas City Chiefs ball club. But nonetheless, that was my only loss in giving out these survivor pool winners. And so I feel confident that I'm able to give out a winner every single week. And so as we go down these slate of games, so this is really the first time we've had a look at the slate of games for week 6. And so we're just going to run through it really quickly. We're not going to analyze these games or anything like that. That's reserved for the Friday episode. We're just going to go through these games quickly, give you a quick reason why you should or shouldn't take this game. I'm going to give you the Soul Survivor, and I'm going to go through all of the games even after I give you the Soul Survivor because I want you to realize this is your best option. Now, you may go in a different direction at your own discretion, but don't get mad at me when you come back and you're out of your survivor pool. And you could have still been around had you taken the team that I advised you to take. So, let's go quickly over these games, over these teams individually, and tell you why you should or shouldn't go with this game in your survivor pool. So, without any further ado, let's see who the Soul Survivor will be.
Everyone can pick, but only one can win. Are you the Soul Survivor?
Now, the Thursday night contest sees the Pittsburgh Steelers heading to Tennessee to take on the Titans. The Steelers are going to win this game. I feel that they are the better team here. The Titans are struggling. No Jake Locker, Matthew Hasselbeck, a veteran quarterback. He knows how to get it done, but I don't think they're good enough right now as a football team. They're struggling in a lot of areas. And right now, they're a team that they're putting their finger in different holes that are in the dike and trying to plug them. And they don't have enough fingers. You don't want to touch this game, though. Again, try to get in the habit of staying away from games of teams who you think are going to win, but they're on the road. Don't allow yourself to be sucked into a game where a team is on the road looking to get a victory. Don't put yourself in that position if you don't have to. Sometimes you have to go out on a limb and pick a road team. But if you don't have to, and in most cases you don't, leave the road teams alone. Even though they seem like the apparent, winner in this game, leave it alone. It seems obvious, but still, don't put yourself in that situation. You should have learned from, 3 weeks ago when I told you that against, with the 49ers traveling to Minnesota, they lost. With the Raiders hosting the Pittsburgh Steelers being on the road, they lost. I told you to stay away from those games. I bet you some of you out there went and were hard-headed and took those games anyway, and you paid for it. Teams that are good normally can get it done on the road, but you don't want to make that decision if you don't have to. It's so tough to win on the road in the National Football League. Leave it alone. So we go on to the Sunday slate of games, and we find ourselves in Baltimore where the Ravens will be hosting the Dallas Cowboys. Tough matchup. Cowboys coming off a bye have had 2 weeks to prepare for this Ravens football team. Ravens were not sharp in their last outing against the Chiefs. Won a 9-6 thriller. Leave this game alone. No need to touch this. Why? I don't need to tell you why you don't need to touch this. Don't touch it. All right, so we move on to some family business. A week ago, we had family business all over the place. It was family business being taken place in multiple areas. Every time you turned around, it was more family business being conducted. This is our first family business matchup on the slate that sees the Cleveland Browns hosting the Cincinnati Bengals, two teams who lost a week ago in totally different fashions. The Browns scored points but didn't score enough. They were outscored by the Giants on the road. Meanwhile, the Bengals, who are home, didn't score enough, and they lost to the Dolphins, a team that I thought they could outscore, and they didn't, at home. And so, this is a tricky game. It's family business. You know my rules on that. You stay away from family business unless there are some kind of extenuating circumstances that means you have to touch this game. But this isn't the case this week. You don't have to touch this game, so you don't need to touch this game, so you don't touch this game. This is family business. This is not your business. That's their family business. You stay out of it. Move on. St. Louis Rams at the Miami Dolphins. This is an ugly game. And ugly for a variety of reasons. One being that these are 2-2-3 teams, both who are coming off of very, very impressive wins. The Rams at home against the previously undefeated Cardinals. And the Dolphins on the road against a very hot Cincinnati Bengals team. And so they're both feeling good about themselves. They're both evenly matched. You really don't know what you're going to get from either one of these teams from week to week. So why would you want to touch this football game? I can tell you why you would want to touch this game. Because you want to go looking for trouble. That's why you would touch this football game. If you want to be smart and stay clear of any garbage, any trash that might be in your way, then you stay clear of this game. I'm going to stay clear of it, as should you. Moving right along. The Indianapolis Colts travel to take on the New York Jets. No. No. You don't want this. You don't want to touch this game. You don't want to come near this game. This is a trap game waiting to happen because you don't know what's going to happen. Andrew Luck is playing really good football. They just beat a Green Bay Packers team at home, coming off a bye. And so they had 2 weeks to prepare for the Packers. And they came out slow, finished fast, won the game. Meanwhile, the Jets had a solid showing on Monday night. No one expected them to win, but a lot of people expected them to get blown out. They didn't. And now they're at home again. They have turmoil. You don't know what's going on in New York. Why bother? This is a game that you don't have to touch. Again, you don't need to touch it. I'm not going near it. Neither should you. So, we land at the Oakland Raiders traveling to Atlanta to take on the Falcons. And so, at first glance, you look at this game and you say, hey, that's a good matchup. And guess what? I agree with you. Ding, 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 ding. This is your sole survivor of Week 6. You take the Atlanta Falcons over the Oakland Raiders and you run with it. Run as fast as you can. Because although the Raiders are coming off of a bye, had 2 weeks to prepare for the Atlanta Falcons, I don't care. The Falcons are the superior team. They're better equipped to win this football game. They play solid defense, are extremely efficient and explosive and potent on the offensive end. Their strength is the exact weakness of the Oakland Raiders. Their strength is their receivers. Whether it's Julio Jones, Roddy White, Harry Douglas, Tony Gonzalez at tight end, all these guys can get it done. The Raiders are terrible and hurting at the corner position. The Raiders couldn't stop the Falcons if they paid them to not score. The only way the Raiders can win this game is if the Falcons absolutely implode or don't show up. If the Falcons turn the ball over 6 times and the Raiders score 4 touchdowns off of those 6 turnovers, then the Raiders have a shot. But if the Falcons score on the Raiders as they should, take care of business, run the football, pass, do whatever you like, and play some sound defense, the Falcons should win this game and win it easily going away at home. This is your sole survivor of the week. And just so you know that there's not a better option, we'll continue to go down the list. So as we continue down the slate of games, we find ourselves in Philadelphia, where the Philadelphia Eagles are waiting on the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions are coming off of a bye week. So that means they've had 2 weeks to prepare for the Philadelphia Eagles. And they're struggling right now. They're reeling. They're not the same Lions team from a year ago that made it to the postseason. And so, if you're a Lions fan, you're looking for that explosive offense that you saw a year ago. I don't know if you're going to see it or not, but I don't think that this Lions team is equipped with enough tools to go out and beat the Philadelphia Eagles in Philadelphia. This Eagles team has been turning the football over at an alarming rate. And so I said all of that because I'm not going to even get into the particulars and the specifics. No need. Stay away from this game. 2 teams that can score the football, one coming off of a bye, one coming off of a heartbreaking loss. Leave it alone. So you go on to the Kansas City Chiefs at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Ugh. Yuck. Ugh. This game has ugly written all over it. 2 funky 1-3, 1-4 teams. The Bucs being 1-3 because they had a bye last week. The Kansas City Chiefs being 1-4. And 2 1-win teams, why would you want to go near this game? It's no need. No need to try to be special and go pick a needle out of a haystack. Leave this game alone. The Buffalo Bills travel to Arizona to take on the Cardinals. And I told you, the Bills are finished. If you wanted to go here and you wanted to take the Arizona Cardinals, be my guest. You have my blessings. However, this is not a better matchup than the one I've already given you. So, saying that, I tell you, be cautious. Because the Arizona Cardinals had a terrible showing on Thursday. But that was family business. That was on the road. And that was against a team that could actually get pressure on the quarterback. The Bills do none of that. They're not home. They don't get pressure on the quarterback. And they're in free fall mode now. So if you want to go here, go ahead. But it's not better. It's not a better selection than the one I gave you already. Still, this Bills team stinks. I'm highly disappointed in them. And Arizona is going to beat them. So if you want to take this game, go right ahead. It's still not a better selection than the one I gave you because Arizona could still be feeling the effects of last week's loss. Come in, lay an egg, Buffalo, score a couple points, maybe get a few turnovers. Voila, you had a Buffalo Bills win in Arizona. So I tell you, stay away. You want to go near it? That's your choice. I won't knock you for doing so, but I tell you, it's not a better selection than the one I've given you already. So we move on. New England Patriots traveling to Seattle to take on the Seahawks. This is a tough matchup. The Seahawks play good defense. The Patriots play good offense. Good defense, good offense. They smack and collide. Who's going to come out on top? You don't know the answer to that. So you don't need to touch this football game. Leave it alone. Giants traveling to San Francisco to take on the 49ers. A rematch of the NFC Championship game from a year ago. And so, need I say more? I didn't think so. Minnesota Vikings traveling to take on the Washington Redskins. This is an interesting matchup. Robert Griffin III might be out with the injury, may play, we don't know. Minnesota Vikings 4-1, playing some really solid football, going on the road to take on a Washington Redskins team that just dropped a hard-fought game to the Atlanta Falcons. So now the Redskins are reeling. Why would you want to touch this game? Two young quarterbacks dueling it out if Griffin were to play. Even if he doesn't and they decide to go with Cousins, still two young quarterbacks going at it. You don't know what's going to happen in this game. These teams, records don't say it, but they're more so evenly matched. And so, no, don't touch this game. There's nothing to benefit from this game. You'll be at the edge of your seat, biting your fingernails when you don't have to. When the Atlanta Falcons are sitting there, right there, a layup. All you got to do is put it up off the glass. That's all you got to do. No one's going to block your shot. Raiders aren't going to block it. Just lay it up off the glass. Easy win. You go to next week. Sunday night matchup sees the Green Bay Packers off of a terrible loss to the Colts on the road, traveling to the perfect, undefeated 5-0 Houston Texans. Everyone's waiting for the Packers of old to show up. I'm telling you right now, stop waiting. They're not showing up. They missed the flight. They're not coming. Meanwhile, the Texans, they're looking like right now the best team in all of football. I'm on board. I'll say they're the best because they have the best combination of offense and defense. So the Packers, who are coming into this game under 500, and rightfully so, they're not playing good football, are going against a team who's 5-0. And you look at that and you say, hey, the Texans should be able to take care of business at home against a struggling Packers team. I tell you, while that may well be the case, why? Who knows if Aaron Rodgers decides to have one of those near flawless performances where he goes out and goes 33 of 39 for 412 yards, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions, and carve up the Houston Texans defense. Why would you allow that to even be an option here? Leave this game alone. It's not necessary. You got a layup. I already showed you got the layup. Either hand. You can use the right hand. You can use the left hand. You got a layup. The Falcons over the Oakland Raiders. Easy layup. Don't take this three-pointer. This is contested. You got a hand in your face. Don't shoot the three with a hand in your face. Well, you got an easy layup. The Falcons beating the Oakland Raiders is that layup. No need to take the contested three. Last game of the slate. Monday Night Football. Denver Broncos taking on the San Diego Chargers in some old-fashioned family business. So you really would wait till Monday night on a family business matchup to get involved with that? Come on, man. I don't need to tell you why you don't need to touch this game. But just in case you need some reassurance, 2 2-3 football teams, or excuse me, 1 3-2 football team, that being the Chargers, 1 2-3 football team, that being the Broncos. Chargers lost a week ago to the Saints, a game that they should have won. I think the officials had a little hand in that, but still, the Chargers are a team that when the pressure is its greatest, they fold. The Broncos, on the other hand, can't get out of their own way, like to turn the football over against teams who can score points, and then want to make furious comebacks at the end of the game when it's too late. Leave this game alone. It's family business. Again, none of your business. It's their business, their family business, not yours. Leave it alone. And so, without any further ado, if you weren't listening, if I need to say it again, I will for the final time. Your sole survivor for Week 6 is the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons are your sole survivor. So throw it up. That is a touchdown. Want to tack on this quick extra point. Watching these games over the first 5 weeks of the season has given me a lot of input. It's been really inconsistent because we had those replacement officials. And so things didn't go as smoothly as I would have liked. I thought the transition from the replacement officials to the official officials was going to be seamless. And I was going to just instantly turn it up just like that. And I did for a week. Came back to earth last week. And I honestly don't think that that was my doing. I thought that some teams really let me down. The Packers let me down. The Bengals let me down. And the Chargers let me down. So easily I could have been, and I should have been, 11-3 last week. 10-4 at the worst. Instead, I ended up 9-5. And so I take that, take my lumps. Disappointed because I said double digits is the only thing that I'm shooting for at this point. If it's not double-digit wins, I'm disappointed. And so this week, I got another crack at it. I go and I'm looking to really make things happen with my picks this week. And so Thursday, on the Thursday episode tomorrow, you will see what I did a week ago, and you'll see my overall record and where I stand. And I got to keep pushing forward because, again, it's going to happen. One of these weeks, I'm going to explode and only have 1, maybe 2 losses max. And so it's coming. I feel it. Last week was a good week for it to have happen, and it didn't. And so I just keep pressing on. Also want you to stay tuned today for the NFL's Most Wanted, the Week 6 edition, as the sheriff comes through and gives you those players wanted in the National Football League in Week 5 for their crimes against the league. And so stay tuned for that edition of NFL's Most Wanted. I thank you for joining me in the lab room on this Wednesday afternoon. It is a gorgeous day. Today, after all this rain here in this area, it is good to see the sun finally come up. And I hope you're having a sunny day where you are as well. I thank you for joining me. Please contact me in the inbox at inthelabroom@gmail.com. I'm on Facebook. Like me on Facebook. In the Lab Room is the Facebook page. I'm on Twitter at In the Lab Room. That is the Twitter handle. I thank you for joining me. You can get in contact with me in any of those ways. And I like to see you back here. Same time. Same place. And again, stay tuned for NFL's Most Wanted. That'll be up shortly. I thank you for joining me again. I'm your host, Lou. This is In the Lab Room. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one.